Ruben Amorim wants reinforcement in January, and from watching Manchester United's opening games under Ruben Amorim, it's very obvious he needs reinforcement. Another midfielder with legs, a left wing back that can actually get forward and complete some crosses, probably another attacker that can actually score, and probably another physical defender to go on the left-hand side due to injuries and other issues. Now, left wing back and centre mid are probably the two areas that United see as possible getting in January. I think Summer will be centre back and attacker, but we may need to sell to raise some funds for that. Now, who could be the two players that Ruben Amorim is willing to sacrifice? As one of them he's not even had involved in his last 3 or 4 matches, despite him playing well under Erik ten Hag. Amorim has put two players up for sale in January. Diogo Dalot could also be sold if the right offer comes in. What is the latest on that? But Amorim likes Dalot and is not willing to sell him. Alphonso Davies to Manchester United is picking up. There's talks going on of entering January where he can negotiate with other clubs outside of Germany. But is Alphonso Davies using United to get a better deal out of Bayern Munich and Real Madrid? There's a lot of positive news around Alphonso Davies to United. He might not stay at Bayern. Man United could offer more than Real Madrid. We could do what we did with Lenny Yoro. But part of me feels like United could be getting used by his agent. The mood inside Old Trafford has been described as toxic. INEOS made 250 redundancies. We're obviously losing. Dan Ashworth's been sacked after, spending months and months to bring him in. But what's really set people off is the Christmas party's been cancelled. Like the award ceremony was cancelled, which, is because the players aren't performing. But I think some staff are unhappy with that because some staff work incredibly hard and it's not their fault that the players aren't performing. And INEOS have ruffled a few feathers. The staff inside Man United are not happy. Who is Ashworth's replacements? What's going on with Barada? Why was he not happy with Ashworth? And we got some news coming out from other less reliable sources about Manchester United wanting Victor Osimhen in January. We will talk about that. But I'm saving the less reliable news to the end. We're going to get through what the reliable news is. Now, we know that we've had stories like this coming out for a while, but Ruben Amorim and key decision makers at Manchester United have earmarked Christian Eriksen and Antony as players who could be sold in January to boost the budget. Christian Eriksen being one of our strongest performers under Erik ten Hag, by the way, guys, and then now at Manchester United under Amorim is not really getting involved. Apparently, and I heard this, that Christian Eriksen was sent by text that he would not be in the squad. That Amorim is not involved him in the squad, even when he's fit. He's only played the first game under Amorim. He got told by text he's not in the squad, he's not in the plans, he's free to leave in January. Which is, I can understand that. I think Amorim's got to be ruthless. And I said, if INEOS are being ruthless with the staff, 250 redundancies, sacking Dan Ashworth, cancelling the Christmas parties, then they need to be ruthless with the players as well. And that's one thing they've got to continue with, being ruthless with the players, because you can't treat the staff like that and let the players who are the biggest underperformers at this club cause issues. Not that I think Eriksen was causing issues, but he obviously doesn't have the legs for Amorim ball, and Amorim's being ruthless with that. Another player is Antony. The question is anybody going to go in for Antony? Man United are willing to sanction loans. Good enough. They don't see him in the plans, and it doesn't take a genius to say that Ahmad is a lot better. And Garnacho and Rashford, who haven't been at the very best lately, are still a lot better than Antony. Another sale that could raise us some funds, but the manager doesn't seem keen on selling him, is Dalot. He's at Liverpool. They will go for Dalot, apparently. Manchester United sources insist Dalot is not for sale, but those close to the Real Madrid believe an offer in the region of 45 million might change their mind, even if Amorim is reluctant to lose the Portuguese international. Now, Dalot hasn't been at his best the last few games. In fact, he was shambolic the last game. But Dalot, for me, under Ruben Amorim, will be best at right centre-back or right wing-back. Dalot will never be a left wing-back under Ruben Amorim because he doesn't have the attacking output for that. He's probably best at right centre-back. And because he can invert, because he can overlap, because he's technically good and physically good, I can understand why Amorim doesn't want to sell him. Dalot is one of the few players in the Man United squad with the technical and physical abilities to play Amorim ball. Obviously, being played on the left wing-back role, that's not going to be his long-term role. Dalot is someone, for me, that I think eventually under Ruben Amorim will be more of a Joe Gomez type player where he might not be in our best back five if everyone's fit, but we could sub him on at right centre-back, we can sub him on at right wing-back, and we can sub him on at left wing-back. If someone gets injured, then there's a really good option there, and that's how we achieve elite depth. Now, if we're talking 45-50 million for Dalot, those kind of offers need to be considered because I think Mazraoui's better than him, but the one thing is, Mazraoui, touch wood, maybe he's got over it, but Mazraoui's had an injury record, Luke Shaw's had an injury record, Molassi's had an injury record. Considering Dalot is the only fullback at United that's proven he can stay fit, Mazraoui's obviously doing well right now, it is a risk to sell Dalot, and I can understand why United probably wouldn't do that in January, but maybe would consider it in the summer. In terms of left-backs, it said that Bayern Munich are putting pressure on Alphonso Davies to sign a new contract before Christmas. Bayern would like a decision before Davies has the opportunity to meet Man United and Real Madrid in January. Davies' side is still hesitating and considering continuing negotiations in the new year. So I'm not 100% sure what's going on with Alphonso Davies, to be honest. I think he wants a big new contract from Bayern. They're not quite willing to give him the money that he wants. I think he's got Real Madrid that want him. I feel like he would choose Real Madrid over Manchester United, especially when you look at how toxic it is right here. But Man United are pushing to meet Davies. They've reached out to Davies multiple times. They're pushing to have talks with Davies. And because they know he's not going to cost any money up front, they're willing to give him a big deal. And if Davies wants the money, he might go to United. Whether that's a red flag, we could discuss that coming to us for the money. But he would be massive under Ruben Amorim. He'd be fantastic. And maybe the fact of playing an attacking role with Ruben Amorim could sell it more to Alphonso Davies. But I have a feeling he's not going to end up at United. And it's not the end of the world. I think Kirk is out there as a great option. You've got Dorgo, so I think there's some really good options in the left wing back market. But I think it's worth going for Davies, but don't put all your eggs in one basket. So let's talk about the toxic mood inside Old Trafford. Manchester United have cancelled their funded Christmas party. Club staff have been left disappointed. This comes amid growing tensions after recent internal changes. For the first time in years, Manchester United won't fund the Christmas party. Traditionally held at Old Trafford, it's also been hosted at venues like Cricket Ground, GMEX, bringing together staff across the organisation. For me, the players are the problem, not the staff at this club. And we've made 250 staff redundant. They've done a lot of things and changed a lot of things for Manchester United staff. Ban working from home, ban this, ban that. For me, it's a very old school approach from Manchester United. And I think we've got to treat our staff well, because if our staff are unhappy, it's going to reflect on the players and it's going to reflect on the mood. And apparently there's a lot of unhappy staff at United. I'm all for INEOS being ruthless, cost cutting. You've got to do what you've got to do to make us an efficient business model. But I think cancelling the Christmas party is a bit out of pocket from INEOS, in my opinion, because the staff shouldn't be punished for the players not performing on the pitch. The players are the ones that should be punished. The players are the ones that INEOS need to be ruthless right now. Some of those people, some of those staff, you won't even know their names. You won't even know who they are. But they are some of the hardest working people at this club. They really are. And I think the players have let them down. Continuing on, apparently the mood at United is not good. The mood around Manchester United is already being described as sour, with the recent news of sporting director Dan Ashworth leaving the club despite only being in place a handful of months. We spent longer chasing Dan Ashworth than he was at the club for. Club sources say that they have been rapidly working on developing a new team and structure, and it looks as though Dan's vision did not align with that or other senior board members. At this time of year, everything is meant to be happy and joyful. At Manchester United, it's not. There seems to be a bit of toxicity there that's getting exposed. In terms of more positive, Omar Barada has impressed with his work on Ruben Amorim and around Man United. He holds regular meetings and staff understand their daily commitments and listen to thoughts on improving practices. Everyone really likes and appreciates Barada's visibility. Now, interestingly, Manchester City's number one to replace Pep was Barada, which they are denying now that we've got. Number one to replace Pep was Amorim, which they're denying now. Well, we've got Amorim, and I think Omar Barada probably did a fair bit of work on Amorim last year when Pep was at City, and probably knew a bit about Amorim. And Dan Ashworth didn't have any influence on that decision, which is apparently one of the reasons he's gone. I think Omar Barada got a spot on with Amorim. I think it's a great appointment, and I think he's doing a good job so far. Manchester United are considering Atletico Madrid sporting director Andrea Berta to replace Ashworth, and if Manchester United decide to bring a new director to replace Ashworth, several sources say they could also go for PSG's Luis Campos, will be top of their list, but they'll face competition from Arsenal. I think Luis Campos is a better option for me than Andrea Berta. Man United going for some big names around Europe. What I'm hearing right now is Man United are going to reshuffle around Wilcox taking up some of Ashworth's duties and take their time to bring in a sporting director. Man United might have their eye on someone. They might even be going for Tixi, who worked with Barada in the past as well. Continuing on, Manchester United could be the ones to pay Victor Osimhen's 62 million release clause in the January window. The break clause is in his loan deal at Galatasaray, and Manchester United are sending their scouts to Turkey to watch Osimhen. It's one to watch, but it's not very reliable sources. Turkish news, when it comes to United, is normally very unreliable. So if I'm going to be honest, Osimhen, good player. Don't want to spend big on him because of recent difficulties. But he definitely improves us, and it'll be interesting to see if anything happens. But listen, guys, that is your 10-minute Manchester United news roundup. Please do go ahead and hit that like button if you did enjoy the video, and feel free to subscribe down below if you're new. I'm on 98,886 subscribers right now. I'm 14 subscribers away from 98.9k and 1,114 subscribers from 100k, which is absolutely crazy. Thank you everyone for watching. See you next time. Bye.